If you've been following along with the Leaf and Luggage, you'll know that we've been in Tokyo. We're now leaving Tokyo for a little while and heading to Bangkok. And this video is about what I learned from travelling from Tokyo to Bangkok. And don't forget to save, share and subscribe. I'll give some tips later on in the video to help make the journey a bit easier. We left early in the morning to catch the flight to Bangkok. Citadines Hotel kept hold of our case for us, but this is because we are booked to go back after our Thailand and Malaysia trip. If you need them to hold your case, then my advice would be to check first. We emailed them from America before we left, whilst we were trying to figure out how much luggage to take, as we wanted to travel light from Tokyo to Thailand and Malaysia. Security at Tokyo Airport was really busy, so my advice would be to allow plenty of time, although the recommended 3 hours was enough for us. Once we'd got through security, we headed to one of the lounges, as we had priority pass. Unfortunately, there wasn't much choice for vegans, so I had 2 Danish pastries which were vegetarian, and he also had a water. They had black coffee, but I don't really like coffee without milk, and there weren't any plant-based milk options. Once we got on the flight, we settled down and we'd pre-booked vegan meals for the flights, which I really enjoyed. It was a vegetable pasta and also came with a salad and fruit, and there was also a bread roll. The airline we flew with was Thai Airways. It was so hot when we arrived in Bangkok. My advice for the plane would be to wear layers, as I was cold because of the air conditioning, but was boiling as soon as I got off the plane in Bangkok. And if you stick around, I'll give a tip later on about taxis. For this part of the journey, we stayed at the Hilton Millennium Hotel. It was gorgeous and I highly recommend staying here. It's by the river and we had a river view. It was so beautiful. When we checked into the hotel, the receptionist asked if we wanted to book breakfast, as it was cheaper to book at check-in rather than wait until the next morning. I asked about vegan options before we booked, and the receptionist said there was a small vegan selection, so we booked breakfast for one morning. Once we checked in, we dropped our bags off and went to the 31st floor of the hotel to watch the sunset, and they had some great vegan options. We shared a burrito and some fries that came with plant-based ragu and sour cream. My tip would be to ask for the ragu and sour cream separately, as the ragu was mixed with the sour cream and added to the top of the fries. Another bit of advice for this hotel is that there is another level above floor 31, but you have to walk upstairs to get this. It was another gorgeous restaurant and bar that's indoors and has beautiful glass windows so you can see the river and the city. It was also very quiet too. The hotel was so lovely and quiet, and I slept really well. The next morning we went to breakfast. My expectations were not very high, so I was really surprised when I saw the options, and I was very impressed. There was a separate vegan section and it had cooked foods such as noodles and stir fry, and there were also smoothie bowls. In the rest of the restaurant there was loads of vegan options such as fresh fruit and smoothies that were being freshly made. So we had an immunity booster smoothie that had lemongrass in it, and there were other choices too such as watermelon. There was also lots of different fruit choices. I had a banana and some lychee, and there were also various cereals. There was also oat milk, which made my morning, as I had coffee, but this only came with non-plant-based milk. And as mentioned earlier, I don't really like black coffee, so I was able to add oat milk instead. There was also baked beans, tomatoes with balsamic vinegar, potatoes, and the food was all labelled with a plant icon. There was also oatmeal, but I'm guessing this was vegetarian and made with milk. There were also other vegetarian options, but I didn't have these as there was enough vegan food to try. But if you are vegetarian, there were eggs, which you could also have boiled, scrambled and freshly made omelettes. As we only had one full day in Bangkok, we then had to decide how to spend our time. We got the free boat from the Hilton Hotel pier across the river and walked into the city. But some advice here is that it's really hot and humid, so you probably don't want to be walking for very long. So we stopped along the way once we saw a cafe called Cafe Amazon. They didn't have any plant-based milk options, and I also didn't see a toilet. My husband ordered an iced black coffee, and then we decided to get a tuk-tuk. The driver was really helpful. We wanted to go and see the Golden Buddha temple, but he told us it was closed until 4 p.m, so he told us about a river cruise instead, so we just decided to do that. He drove us there and it was 300 baht, and he also walked in with us to show us where we needed to go. We booked the river cruise, which was 3,000 baht for 2 of us, and it lasted about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And me and my husband were the only 2 people on the boat. If you decide to do a river cruise, I would wear flat shoes or trainers, as it can be tricky getting in and out of the boat. You also have to wear a life jacket once on board. We went past loads of interesting structures, people's homes as well as temples. We were also lucky enough to see a lizard. We would have missed it, but the driver slowed down and pointed the lizard out to us. Along the way, the driver stopped off at the giant Buddha. He told us he would come back for us in half an hour. There is a cafe there, but they don't serve coffee. It was mainly water and other cold drinks as far as I could see. I highly recommend seeing the giant Buddha. It was incredible. Once we'd finished taking photos and videos, we headed back to wait for the driver for the boat. Once we got back on board, we went past a few more temples before returning to the dock. The driver also pointed out the king's house. We then caught a grab taxi to the Lion Buddha. It was so lovely here, the grounds are beautiful. You have to take your shoes off to go and see the Lion Buddha, so I would take some socks with you if you need to. It's also called the Sleeping Buddha, but the official name is the Reclining Buddha. We walked around the grounds before heading back to the hotel. There is a shop within the grounds where you can get some water or juice. For dinner, we went to Veganerie, which I highly recommend. Their menu is fantastic with lots of choice. But the best part for me was that they do vegan cakes and sundaes. I can't remember the last time I had a sundae because of the dairy, but we shared a berry sundae, which was amazing. It came with chocolate and strawberry sauce. It also wasn't very busy with customers in the restaurant. 2 other people turned up as we were leaving, but the restaurant was busy with takeout deliveries. Once we got back to the hotel, we went to the Ale House bar for a few drinks, and they were showing the football. But just be aware they could be showing sports games if you go here, and it's not your sort of thing. The next morning we went to the airport to go to Penang. We didn't have any time for breakfast as we had to leave and the restaurant was opening at 6:30 a.m. At the airport we went to one of the airport lounges. But there wasn't much choice for vegans. They had some cooked foods such as vegetables and they had coffee and tea but no plant-based milk. There was another lounge closer to our gate, so you may not want to go to the first lounge you see. On the way to our gate there was a coffee shop and I saw they did vegetarian sandwiches, but it looked like they had cheese on. And they also did a vegan mushroom wrap, which was wrapped in a banana leaf. They also had soy milk, so I was able to get a latte with soy milk. It was then time to board our plane. If you like this video, then don't forget to save, share and subscribe. Follow along for the Malaysian part of our trip, as well as when we return to Thailand before heading back to Tokyo, where I'll give more tips and advice from the Leaf and Luggage. Travel further, eat better.